Hello, 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 and welcome to another video here with Club the Noob. I hope you guys are doing well. Today we are at Stuttgart in Germany, and we will be flying over to Paris in France. We're taking off from Stuttgart airport here in Germany, and we'll fly over to Charles de Gaulle in Paris. So, as you can see, we're at the airport here. There it is. It says Stuttgart right there. And it's a lovely looking airport here in Microsoft Flight Simulator. This, by the way, is just the default aircraft. The airport. I've not installed any additional stuff. Here we are. The Manfred Rommel Airport in Stuttgart. And it's very, very nice. We have a few aircraft parked here, mostly a couple of KLMs, UI and the like. Let's head on over. Beautiful scenery, isn't it, here at the airport? Looking very, very nice. Lovely detail. Got lots and lots of aircraft. Today we'll be flying the A320neo. That is us right there. This is the aircraft we'll be flying today. We're flying using the Lufthansa livery for the day. Although Lufthansa does not actually operate this flight in real life. Nonetheless, we'll use this livery today for our flight. Okay. Let's head on inside the cockpit here, where I'll show you today's route. Okay, so on little nav map here, let me show you guys today's route. Today we are parked at parking 81 in Stuttgart. We'll take off from runway 25, runway 25 here in Stuttgart. We'll fly out using this particular departure. We'll get into details as we program the flight into the McDo, to the FMC. So we'll fly out as shown towards Afghan, and then we'll continue our journey towards Paris. Very straightforward flight plan here. We'll descend about 50 nautical miles from our waypoint Dipje. That will be our top of descent for the day. About 53 nautical miles from PB 510. Now we'll fly into Paris here today, and as you can see, we're not using a star today to arrive. No standard arrival procedures will be used today. We're just going to go in directly for ILS 26R, and we'll land into runway 26 right at Charles de Gaulle LFPG in Paris. Okay, and then we'll turn off and park at any of these gates, wherever we like, really. All right, that sounds wonderful. So without further ado, let's go ahead and program in. Well, let's first get this aircraft started up from cold and dark, shall we? Excuse me. And then we will program in today's flight plan, push back, taxi out, and take off here from Stuttgart. Okay, we have a beautiful cockpit here today. Plenty of Lufthansa upholstery, as well as Lufthansa logo and decal on the tablet, as well as on the cockpit cup. So that's really nice. Okay, let's just get this aircraft started now without further delay, shall we? All right, we're flying the fly-by-wire A320neo. And let's get this aircraft started up from cold and dark. Batteries can go on here. External power can be connected, although if we go to our tablet here, we will notice that our ground power unit is not connected. No problem, we'll connect it up right now. We'll also get the, well, it's not going to be jet bridge today, it's going to be the stairs, but we'll get the jet bridge or the stairs connected, fuel truck, cargo door, baggage truck, door, the aft door, and the catering truck. Let's go to the fuel. For today we'll carry 9,524. That's more than enough for us to, today we're carrying 9,485. That's more than enough to make today's journey. Just a 1 hour hop to Paris. For payload today we'll use 150 passengers will be flying with us today. 3,000 kgs of cargo, we don't need to touch that. And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Everything looking good, okay? Okay, while these services are finishing up, let's go ahead and get this aircraft ready for engine start. Strobe lights can come to automatic, nav and logo lights can go on, let people know we're in the aircraft. APU master switch can go on, the pump or fuel switch pump 1 can go on. At least the pump 1 can go on. APU start. We can get our APU started here. Okay, our crew oxygen supply can come to on. Emergency lights can come to the arm position. No smoking lights can go to on actually. Let's get the ADIR system, all three of them, to nav mode. While that is happening and the APU is booting up, we can go to the cockpit here. Set our brightness levels for the PFD, MFD and the ECAM displays here. There we go. Okay. Go. Let's also set the brightness of the MCP panel up here, as well as some sort of brightness on the center pedestal as well. Okay, we'll also give it some instrument lighting here. Why not? We'll do the same up here for now. It might get dark on the route. In case it doesn't, we can always turn down the lights, okay? Now let's go ahead and program in our flight plan for the day and get the Mach 2 started up. GC, let's go. Clear any messages here. Let's go to init. We're taking off from Stuttgart, which is EDDS. We're landing into Charles de Gaulle, which is LFPG. So there we are. Flight number for the day is CDN5. Cost index for the day will be 100. Our cruising altitude for the day will be 27,000 feet. And zero fuel weight, we can just copy that from the scratch pad. Our block fuel for the day will be 9.5. Okay, let's do that right here. Done. Now let's go ahead and program in our flight plan. Before we enter our departure and arrival, go ahead and set in our waypoints for the day, shall we? Okay, so for our first waypoint towards Paris is FD03. Let's program that in, shall we? The closest one at 79 nautical miles. Next waypoint will be FJY23. Okay. Next is Dipche with a C, like so. And our final waypoint that we need to program in is PB510. Okay, and the closest one at 229 nautical miles is the one we're going for. There it is. Let's set our departure here today. Departure from Stuttgart will be out of runway 25 using the departure KRH5B. The SID KRH5B is what we'll be using. Let's insert that. Move on. Let's clear this flight plan discontinuity here. Another discontinuity we can clear. At LFPG, our arrival will be directly into runway 26R using the ILS without any stars or standard arrival procedures, standard terminal arrivals. Let's insert that. Let's just check for any flight discontinuities, and there are none. Okay, brilliant. Let us just quickly check our flight plan here. We'll quickly put the MFD into the plan mode here. Let's go through our legs, shall we? Here we are at EDDS, taking off from runway 25 out to our departure. These are waypoints along our departure KRH 5B. Okay. Okay. All looking good right now. Upgun is there. KRH FD03, FJY23, DipJ, PB510, and then these are the ILS waypoints for 26R into Paris, runway 26 right. Okay, there we are. at Paris 26. Right, so the flight plan is looking all good. Let's change back the mode here. Just go to flight plan. Brilliant. Continue setting up our McDo here. Performance flaps, takeoff flaps will be flap 1. Our transition altitude for the day will be 5,000 feet. Okay, what is our V1? V1 at 121, VR at 122, V2 at 126, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, anything else we need to do? Nothing really. Yeah, nothing really, to be honest. Section, yeah, no. Okay, let's go to our MCP now, the control panel for the autopilot. Let's see, we already have managed speed mode available to us, managed direction, or in other words, navigation mode available to us. Let's set our initial climb out altitude 10,000, and we can see that managed climb mode is also available to us, so that's perfect. Okay, we'll climb out initially to 10,000 feet, then we'll turn off our landing lights at 10,000 feet, make sure we're all good, and then we'll climb out from 10,000 feet towards our cruising altitude of 27,000 feet. So a two-step climb out today, out of Stuttgart. And of course, we're going to be using managed climb mode, so any altitude restriction will be automatically applied by the autopilot as present in the McDo. Okay, let's go ahead and set our barometric pressure for the day, shall we? To do that, we'll just use the shortcut. We'll press B. We can see the barometric pressure at Stuttgart 29.94. That's successfully. Okay, let's go ahead and continue with our startup procedures. Seatbelts can be put to on. Thermal power can now come off that we are using APU. Ground power unit can be disconnected. You can also see that all our other services have finished up here. Stairs are disconnected. Cargo doors are closed. Cargo loaders are detached. So is the catering truck. Okay, so we are basically ready to roll at this point. We are ready for pushback, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go ahead and perform our pushback, shall we? We'll use the tablet today for pushback. Right before we push back, let me explain today's pushback to you guys. We'll obviously push back behind us. We'll join this particular taxiway here. Right here, somewhere here. And then we'll go along this turning here. Obviously, we're not going to go all the way. That is runway 25 at the end here. So we'll come to this point, turn left, go along this taxiway all the way to the end of runway 25, and then we'll take off along this direction, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, let's get the tug here attached to our aircraft by turning on the pushback system and calling the tug. The tug is coming in and getting attached. So while we're getting pushed back, we're going to actually go ahead and turn on the engines here as well. Interesting day here at Stuttgart. Okay. Our APU is still running. You can see the exhaust gases coming out here. The tug is still being attached here. We'll push back quite slowly here. As you guys can see from the weather, we are using live weather, just not real time. But live weather nonetheless. Okay. Okay, we've got the tug attached here. We can now release our parking brake and begin pushback slowly. We are trying to join this taxiway, okay? While the pushback is being done, let us turn on our beacon lights here because we are about to start the engine.
Flight attendants, arm doors, and cross-check.
There we go, arm doors and cross-check. Fuel pumps can now come on completely. APU bleed can come on now. Let's go ahead and select the engine mode selector to ignition. We'll start engine number 2 here. You can see N2 climbing. N1 slowly climbing as well.
Once again, we'd like to welcome you on board
And we can see that the safety briefing and pre-flight announcements have begun already. Let's go outside and enjoy the startup of our engine number 2, shall we? We'll soon be able to hear the engine roaring to life. I'll now go quiet and let's enjoy engine startup, ladies and gentlemen. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and start the first engine as well here. Here we are. First engine starting up as well. Go outside and enjoy that sound one more time, shall we? Okay, engine number 1 spooling up here. Let's enjoy that sound. Push. All right, let's now go ahead and turn our engine mode selector to normal. And we're continuing on with our pushback here. You can go overhead and turn the APU bleed off now that we have engine bleeds available to us. We can turn off our APU as well. We don't need them anymore. Engine generators now online. Okay. Let's continue monitoring our taxi here. You can see that's a taxiway we would like to join here. Lovely seeing all these aircrafts. The Vueling livery is particularly nice, isn't it? There's the Eurowings. We also have a Delta parked there. A 777 or a 767, I can't tell from here. Anyway, let's turn our nose, our tail to the left, or our nose to the right. Okay. We are trying to head up with that taxiway. We won't come perfectly in line, but that's perfectly fine here. Alright, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, we're almost done lining up here. Almost done. And we can ask the pushback to stop right there. Turn on our parking brake. Release the tug. There we go. The tug is going away from us. We are roughly in the position of the taxiway. Hopefully this tug disappears. Even if it doesn't, we'll just go right through him, and he does disappear. There you go. Tug is going back to the services right there. Lovely. Okay, before we take off from here, let's have a look at the weather. Let's see, what is the weather like here EDDS right now? 70 degrees Celsius, only 2 knots of wind. Not a problem. LFPG, excuse me for that. LFPG, we've got 18 degrees Celsius, 6 knots of wind. That's not so bad. Yeah, we've got nothing else to do with our tablet here other than to turn it off here. And let's begin taxi here, shall we, ladies and gentlemen? Let's go up here. Taxi lights can come to on. Runway turn off. We'll leave runway turn off on as well. Taxi lights. Put our taxi landing lights to the off position for now. We're ready to taxi, ladies and gentlemen. Right, parking brake released. We should start rolling, and we haven't. Okay, let's just open up the throttle a little bit so we can start rolling. We've started rolling. Okay, so the A320 can taxi on idle. So we don't need to apply any forward thrust. There it is. We just witnessed a takeoff right there. Really nice. I'm using traffic injector in case anyone's wondering. I find traffic injector to be very, very nice and a nice addition to Microsoft Flight Simulator. Alright, so we'll drop our flaps now to takeoff position. Flaps are being dropped. We'll continue on with our checklist here. Okay, we'll just set the auto brake to max for takeoff. Go ahead and do that. That's pretty much it, ladies and gentlemen. We're pretty much ready for takeoff here. If we look to our left, we can see a couple of fire truck and a fuel truck. Really nice model, the building there at Stuttgart. Lovely here. But anyway, let's continue this taxi, shall we? Alright, we are right about to make the turn onto the runway. We'll come to a stop at the stop bar. And we'll turn on TCAS, turn on our lights, do a few configuration, etc. Okay, before we turn onto the runway and perform a rolling takeoff here. Right, let's just go ahead a little forward and we'll put on our parking brakes here. There it is. Alright, and let's put our TCAS. Okay, before we put our TCAS on, let's go ahead and turn off our taxi lights here, turn on our takeoff landing lights rather. Landing lights are on, and the nose wheel light is to the takeoff position. Our strobe lights can go to full on position here. Wing lights can remain off, and nav and logo lights can remain on. Brilliant. Every other checklist item has been done. Now we just turn on our TCAS here before we turn onto the runway.
Flight attendants, please prepare for takeoff.
There we go. We got the announcement made by the captain to let flight attendants know to prepare for takeoff, and we'll now perform a rolling takeoff here out of runway 25 in Stuttgart, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so let's release the parking brakes here, and we are rolling. We'll slowly roll onto the runway here. Then we will take off without coming to a stop. In other words, a rolling takeoff. Alright, we are all clear. Just making sure we're actually all clear. Yep, no one's landing this way. Let's go ahead and get this aircraft rolling, shall we? Okay, toga set. Okay, engines are responding. We are rolling, ladies and gentlemen. 80 knots. Airspeed alive on both sides. And we have V1, and let's rotate. Positive rate of climb here. Gear up. Flaps up. Put our lever to the throttle to the climb detent. We've turned on autopilot. We are now completely under manage mode. We have our throttle on the climb detent, auto throttle engaged, autopilot engaged, manage mode climb out onto 10,000 feet. Let's have a quick look outside from the airport. We to the airport we took off from. There it is, Stuttgart. Looking really lovely today. And we're out on to Paris, ladies and gentlemen. Beautiful, isn't it? Very lovely. Very, very lovely. Okay, we've passed our transition altitude for the day. We'll switch to standard on the barometric pressure. We're now climbing out steadily, quite steeply. As a matter of fact, we're climbing out at 5,600 feet. Woof! At 250 knots. Let's make sure our seatbelt signs are on here. Yes, they are. Make sure our passengers don't land themselves into trouble, ladies and gentlemen. But anyway, other than that, we seem to be doing well as we come up on 10,000 feet here. Another aircraft off to our left. 9,000 feet now. Making our turn on to the waypoint of DS-042. We're still in the departure procedure here out of Stuttgart. Here comes 10,000 feet. You can actually go ahead and turn the nose wheel lights completely off. We can also turn our landing lights off at this point. Actually, we should do that while we climb out to 10,000 feet. So let's go ahead and set our cruising altitude of 27,000 feet and turn on managed mode. And we'll climb out to our cruising altitude of 27,000 feet, excuse me, automatically here. We're passing 10,000 feet here, so we can turn off our landing lights. There it is. They are off. Okay, let's turn off the nose wheel lights as well. Landing lights can be retracted. Okay, double checking that strobe lights are on, beacons are on, Avon logo lights are on, runway turn off lights are off, landing lights are retracted, and the landing lights are off, flaps are retracted, gear is up, everything is looking good, TCAS is on the correct mode, ground spoilers can be disarmed, seatbelts and no smoking signs can remain on for the time being, and let's go outside and have a look at this, ladies and gentlemen. Beautiful, isn't it? Absolutely lovely. My goodness, the scenery is incredible down here. Wow. Beautiful, beautiful stuff here. Okay, we're looking great. We've left Stuttgart behind somewhere over there, I believe. We're looking wonderful as we climb out to our cruising altitude of 27,000 feet, ladies and gentlemen. And there isn't much now to be done until the top of descent, because the aircraft is going to automatically manage our speed, our altitude, and our navigation here. So I guess from this point on, I'll now join you guys at top of descent. You guys can now enjoy the montage that I will put for you guys of some of the views along the way. And I'll join you guys at the top of descent. Enjoy the views, ladies and gentlemen. All right, I am back, and hello guys, welcome back into the cockpit here. As you can see, we are now about to pass over Dipche, which is quite near to our top of descent. Our top of descent is only 50 nautical miles from Dipche. So we're supposed to be descending down to 11,000 feet at PB 510, which is 68 nautical miles away. So when we are 53 nautical miles away from PB 510, we need to begin our descent to 11,000 feet. So let's just go in here right now, set the altitude that we need to go down to 11,000 feet. Everything else is looking good in this aircraft right now as we cruise along. Let's see. Okay, so we'll come down to PB 510, 11,000 feet, and we'll go to CF26R, which is part of the ILS here. Will be around 5,000 feet, and FF26R, our final waypoint before coming in to land at the runway, will be at 4,000 feet. Okay, so we're gonna ignore this message here. What we'll do now is we can actually begin the descent right now. We don't really need to wait for 53 nautical miles. It's only 10 more nautical miles away anyway. I'll begin the descent, and then I'll catch you guys again once we have reached 11,000 feet, because the descent is going to take a while, isn't it? So let's go ahead and begin this descent right now. And we can begin this descent in managed mode, allow the aircraft to descend by itself. As you can see, the throttle has gone down to idle. The auto throttle, okay, we can see the N1 dropping there. And we've begun descending down to 11,000 feet. The throttle goes to idle so that the aircraft can drop at the maximum rate possible.
As we have noticed, we have begun our initial descent down to our destination. Now would be a good time to wrap up any business you need to take care of as we prepare for approach. If you are up, once you return to your seat, we ask that you remain seated until the aircraft arrives safely at the gate. Pilot fans, please prepare the cabin for a ride.
There we go. Got the captain making the announcement. Okay, let's turn on the seat belts here. Turn on the no smoking sign as well, so that our passengers can return safely back to their seats. And what is going on here? Okay. Now I will I'll tune back in with you guys once we have reached 11,000 feet. Okay? All right. All right, guys, as you can see, we have now reached 11,000 feet successfully. And the autopilot is automatically dropping our speed down to 250 knots here. At our next waypoint, oh, well, we're still traveling towards PB 510. We still have 20 nautical miles to PB 510, where we're supposed to be at 11,000 feet. Since we're already at 11,000 feet, we've got nothing to worry about in terms of our altitude. Our next desired altitude will be 5,000. We'll actually go ahead and just set that in the MCP. We won't command the descent yet. We'll set that here in preparation for our descent once we reach PB 510, which is still 18 nautical miles away. So our speed has dropped to 250 knots. We're holding 11,000 feet and 17 nautical miles away from PB 510. We'll begin our descent down to 5,000 feet at PB 510. Okay, so I will tune in with you guys again at PB 510. All right then. All right, guys, I am back, and as you can see, we are now coming in towards the waypoint of PB 510. We're less than 5 nautical miles away now. So let's go ahead and command the descend. Okay, so now we'll begin descending here. We'll ignore this message. We'll begin descending now towards 5,000 feet at CF26R, altitude restriction of 4,000. So we'll climb down to 5,000 feet at CF26R and 4,000 at FF26R. That should enable us to come in and catch the glide slope and land at Charles de Gaulle, which I think I can actually see Charles de Gaulle already. The Charles de Gaulle, let's see. Oh, well, it's quite difficult to determine at this distance because of the glare and the reflections. We'll see. A little later on we should be able to see the airport quite easily. Whilst we are on the approach portion here, basically. Let's check out the weather at LFPG. 3 knot winds, 17 degrees Celsius. Nothing too bad, eh? Okay, that's wonderful. Let's also have a look at the fuel situation. Yep, perfectly fine here. We'll turn off the tablet. And let's monitor our descent here. 1,700 feet as we descend down to 5,000 feet. We should be able to make that 5,000 feet at CF26R, considering we have 60 nautical miles to go. And the autopilot should begin. Oh, we've just crossed 10,000 feet. Let's quickly go ahead and turn on our landing lights here, as well as our nose wheel lights can come to takeoff lights. Takeoff position, yep. Okay, that looks good. We can actually begin preparing for landing now, or it's a bit too early right now, isn't it? Okay, nothing to worry. Let's just make this descent to 5,000 and we'll prepare further for our landing into runway 26R at Paris Charles de Gaulle, runway 26R. Coffee also has the Lufthansa decal, very nice. Lovely upholstery as well, eh? So the jump seat here, which I don't know if we can extend. Apparently we can't. I'm sure there's a... Okay, I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking about the PMDG 737 here. Anyway. Let's see. Where are we? What are we doing? We should... Do we have visuals on the runway yet? Again, the reflection make it hard to see for now, so... interesting. Okay, here we are coming up on CF26R, and we are still 1,000 feet above what we're supposed to be at. You know what? Let me open up the speed brakes here. But that's just... yeah, let's just open up the speed brakes here. Allow the aircraft to descend a little quicker so we can easily make our required altitude at CF26R. Okay, we're encountering a little bit of wind, and by the way, in case you guys didn't notice, much of our cruise we had a headwind battering us at 83 knots, so there you go. Okay, we've reached our altitude requirement of 5,000 feet for now. Let's tune in 4,000 in advance. Actually, you know what, let's leave it at 5,000 till we reach CF26R. Okay, we've leveled out. We'll wait for the altitude sign here to the border to disappear. There we go. Now we can tune in 4,000. And why are we climbing now? Okay. There is a lot of wind right now, isn't there? Yep, there is. The aircraft is being battered by winds. Oh my goodness, that's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be an interesting landing. Okay. Evening here in Paris right now. We come into land. Holding 5,000 feet. CF26R coming up. descent down to 4,000 feet at FF26R. From there we should be able to catch at 5,000 feet. We can tune our barometric pressure to the local pressure, which is 29.85. Okay, the aircraft is struggling to hold the altitude here. Interesting. Autopilot being battered by winds, eh? Okay, we've just crossed CF26R and let's begin our descent down to 4,000 feet immediately. Let's open up speed brakes because, as you can see, the aircraft is also trying to lose speed at the same time. So it will favor losing speed over altitude, and therefore we need to open up the speed brakes to allow it to descend a little quicker than it otherwise would. And also begin dropping the flaps here. As you can see, our airspeed is getting low. Okay, and I think I have Charles de Gaulle in sight somewhere here. Yeah, I believe so. Okay. We're descending down to 4,000 feet. Flaps can come to position number 2 now. Okay, flaps are going down as well. Brilliant. And that is clearly Charles de Gaulle Airport there. Yes, it is, ladies and gentlemen. There is the airport. There is the runway we're landing into, 26R. Okay. Beautiful. Let's see if we can let's drop our flaps to position number 3 here. Set auto brakes here for landing, not max, sorry, to medium. In preparation for landing here. Speed brake still deployed to try and descend us down to 4,000 feet here. As you can see, we've passed FF26R and we still haven't reached 4,000 feet. Let's go to flaps full now, because the autopilot has apparently commanded for landing speeds already. So we still haven't dropped our gear. So you know what? Before we drop our gear, to close up our parking speed brakes here. Let's try and catch approach, shall we? Let's turn on approach mode here. Localizer is caught. We're just waiting for the glide slope, hopefully. Let's see if we can catch it. Let's actually descend down to 3,000 feet here. Hopefully that will help us catch the glide slope. Still being battered by a little bit of winds here. Our radio altimeter hasn't yet kicked in. Obviously we're not yet at 2,500 feet, which is excellent. Still waiting for the glide slope here. We are still a long way out from the airport, I mean from the runway. Roughly 7 nautical miles from the runway. We should have caught the glide slope. Are we too high? We might be. Let's actually deploy speed brakes again to try and increase our rate of descent here. I don't think that seems to be working, is it? No, okay. Maybe it is, I don't know. Still haven't caught the glide slope here. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Don't want to drop our gear yet, but I think we may not have a choice. Let's just double check that our landing lights are on. Yes, they are. Excuse me. Let's go outside. Quickly look at our aircraft here. Being battered by the winds. And ahead of us is the lovely Charles de Gaulle Airport. Okay. Let's get on inside here. Coming down to 3,000 feet. We still haven't caught the glide slope here. Let's go down now to 2,000 feet. We should catch the glide slope now. And our rate of descent is still not so great. You know what? Let's try descend manually here. I can't disengage. I can't seem to disengage engaged mode here. That's interesting. Okay, all right.
2,500.
Let's drop the gear, shall we? Okay, we have gear dropping and we still haven't caught the glide slope here.
Flight attendants, please prepare for landing.
Okay, we've got the captain making the announcement there. Okay, we've begun a steeper descent now finally. Hopefully we'll catch the glide slope. I don't You know what? I'm not going to allow the aircraft to continue flying in this particular setting, because clearly we're not going to catch the glide slope in time. So I have manual control of the aircraft. Throttle is still being controlled by auto throttle. Let's actually go down manually here. Okay, we have slight headwind in our favor. Well, it's a decent headwind, so let's arm the ground spoilers. Ground spoilers to arm position. We're coming into land, ladies and gentlemen, here at Charles de Gaulle. Oh my goodness. Okay.
1,000.
1,000 feet. Okay. Lovely. Okay, let me pay attention to the landing now, shall I? Oh goodness, why is it stuttering a little bit here? Okay. Trim up slightly here.
$500.
500.
400.
400.
$300.
Okay. We're a little low according to the poppy lights, but that's okay, we'll continue.
200.
Okay.
$100. 50. 40. 30. 20. Retard. 10. 5.
Reverse thrust deployed. Okay, actually, we don't even need them. And there we are, ladies and gentlemen. We have landed successfully into Charles de Gaulle in Paris. And let's go ahead and exit the runway here. Okay, we can push our flaps up, spoilers can come to the retracted position completely. Okay, turn off landing lights, turn on taxi lights. Let's see, what gate shall we take? Here at Charles de Gaulle. Shall the taxi in our aircraft here? Okay. It was a decent landing, however, we're a little bit off to the right of the center line. So I'd give myself a decent landing, but nothing more than that. Could have been a little better had I touched down a little more towards the center of the runway. Apart from that, it's a decent landing. Okay, let's take a hard right here. Turn. Okay. Onto the gates that we see up ahead of us, and we'll park our aircraft somewhere there. Not much traffic being injected at the moment into Paris, Charles de Gaulle. Okay. Just go ahead and park, shall we? Turn left here. Let's actually get our APU started while we are taxiing in here. So APU master switch on, APU on. Let's see if that works. Okay. We'll park right at this gate. Okay. Park our aircraft right here. It says landing light is still on. That's interesting. Thought I turned that off. Well, I did. We just need to retract it. There we go. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'll park it roughly somewhere right there. Turn on our parking brakes here. And our taxi lights can come to off. Strobe lights can come to off. Our APU is on, I believe. Yes, it is. We can see the exhaust gas. And here we are, ladies and gentlemen, at Paris Charles de Gaulle International Airport. Not a lot of aircraft showing up for some reason. I don't know what it is, but anyway, we do have a Delta off to our left. Get back inside here. Shut down our engines. Okay, ignore the logbook. Engines shut down here. Got our APU running, so we have power. External power is available, so we'll connect that. And we can actually turn off our APU here. Let's go back up and turn off crew supply oxygen here. Let's turn off our beacon lights. We don't need them anymore. Let's disarm our emergency lights here. Switch off all the lights. We really don't need them anymore.
The doors verified.
Let's allow the passengers to deboard the aircraft here. Let's open the door, jet bridge, ground power unit, cargo doors, and the lot can come. Turn off APU bleed, although we don't really. Yeah, we don't need to worry about that. We don't need to turn off the bleed switches here. Or the APU generator. Fuel pumps can come off now. And the ADIRs can all go off now. We don't really need the engine pumps to remain on. You can turn that off. The APU generator can go off. Engine bleeds can go off as well. And yeah, basically that's about it, right? Got runway turn off lights, we can turn that off. Nav lights. Well, that's about it, ladies and gentlemen. That's about it. We can now go ahead and turn off our external power. Turn off nav and logo lights, and batteries can come off as well. Okay, and let's have a look from outside. There it is. Apparently turning off the battery removed all our ground services, but never mind that. We can just quickly go inside and remove them if we like so. Okay. For some reason the jet bridge did not connect. Yeah, for some reason the jet bridge did not connect. But anyway, let's go ahead and close all of this up. There it is. Okay. With that, ladies and gentlemen, we have just landed into Charles de Gaulle. For some reason, it's stuttering a little bit. I think I know why. Yeah, I've been flying the simulator for a while now, so I'll probably restart it before recording. But nonetheless, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, at Charles de Gaulle, and I hope you enjoyed that flight here today. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. I'll leave it here for this video. Hope you enjoyed today's flight. And thank you very much for tuning in. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.